That's it. Chalo, let's start with it. So सबसे पहले let me tell you what is API. Yeah, how many of you like give me a hands up emoji or something in the chat? Okay, I'll be focusing more on chat over here. Give me like some sort of an emoji if you know what APIs are. Anyone? Anyone? If not, I'll be explaining. And yes, we're going to be covering a lot of stuff in 1 hour, so we are going to be moving faster. Okay. Malhar is typing. Okay, got it, got it. Fine. In general, there is some issues. देखो तो API होता क्या है? I'll just tell you in a very basic manner. I've already used this example before. Now, you know what? We won't be talking in terms of restaurants and stuff. What we're going to be doing, we're going to be talking in proper software terms. So imagine you're building a software and you want some weather data of, let's just say, Manhattan. You want weather data of Manhattan. Now you personally won't be writing like an entire algorithm jahan pe you will be calculating, like getting fetching data from satellites and then calculating, depending on the prediction algorithm or whatever, what will be the weather in Manhattan in the upcoming 7 days, right? You personally don't want to do that. So how do you get that data? Basically, there is this thing called API. What you do, you ask that API for, there is someone who has already done this work. Okay? All you need to do is your code ask this API. Imagine it as a person, imagine it as an address, imagine it as anything. It's like a Twitter word. Okay, like your code is asking this API to fetch that data from someone else's code that has already like made it available. So first they have to make the API available to the public. It could be like APIs could cost something. APIs usually sometimes they cost, sometimes they don't. For example, if you're creating like a wrapper of ChatGPT, basically what you're doing, you're just creating an interface on top of ChatGPT's code, right? And you need some response from ChatGPT. So ChatGPT has a paid API service. Yeah. So ChatGPT has a paid API service. That means that whenever someone is going to use your app is sending some request to get data from ChatGPT server through an API. Now this usage of API first tracks your usage. So there will be a unique API. Imagine this as a unique person who will only be responsible who will be only responsible for communication between your app and OpenAI's app, right? OpenAI server. So one thing you can do with APIs first is track everything. So like OpenAI can charge you properly. If you have used it 100 times and someone else has used it 200 times, of course the person who has used it 200 times is going to be charged more, right? So this is done using different API keys. So I think a general gist of what APIs are is like clear to you guys. Else has already written a code. You want to access some part of it. You want to access some part of a database, whatever. To communicate between code to code communication is happening using this bridge called API. Got it? And this is what backend really is. Backend development is software development. Okay. Front end anyone can build. Front end even ChatGPT can build. Front end, like I'll show you a few front end थोड़ी देर में. If you can see this code, okay, this code, I'll show you a front end. You know what? I'll show you a front end. Since I'm sleepy and I'm going off on trajectories, I'll show you this front end. This front end was completely made using AI. None of it was written by me. Okay? I was just trying to see how much I can do using V0. This complete front end, including these buttons, all of this was was done using ChatGPT. Sorry, not ChatGPT exactly. It was done using V0, and this entire thing, none of the code was written by me. Not a single component of React was created by me. So front end is not coding. Front end like is coding, but like it is not exactly what you should be focusing on. Backend development is where the thing lies, and backend development purely relies on communicating between functions. I hope if you have like done any amount of coding, in fact, in the JavaScript part where we created the DOM manipulation and all of that stuff, we had, I think every single person who is in here has participated in that and they know what functions are. Okay. Like from the list that I can see. I'm sure you guys, I'm sure everyone is in the Robolution core and all of you know what functions are. Okay? This is what we want. We want good people. We want people who are interested. That is why we run this code. Okay? So communicating between functions is all there is in backend, and communicating with the database. Now imagine database for now as an Excel sheet. So whenever in this particular lecture, whenever I'm going to be referencing a database, just it is not exactly an Excel sheet. Maybe, maybe not. I will go into that. We'll go completely into Postgres. Yeah, like in the later part of this later sessions. But for now, just imagine that a database is an Excel sheet, and each cell communicating to that cell in a particular column is what APIs do, and as well as communicating between functions. Functions is backend code, and just communicating between data, creating data, deleting data, all of that. That is what coding really is. Manipulation of data is what coding is. That is why data structures and algorithms are the most asked things in the coding, like whatever, like coding interviews and stuff. Okay, got it. Everyone is clear with what API is. Now we are going to go ahead and install FastApi. I am assuming everyone over here has VS Code and everyone over here has Python. If you don't, go to python.org, download it for whatever operating system you are using. Download the 32-bit or 64. I'm assuming everyone has 64-bit PCs. So download 64-bit wala part. Install it. Press next. There will be a small tick mark where you have to add Python to path. Do that, and then you can continue further with this course. This is being recorded, so don't worry, you can just go to the recorded session, and we'll be uploading it on YouTube right after this. Maybe an hour. We need some amount of editing, but that's it, mostly not. Again, let's go. We'll go to this link. I'll send you this link in the chat. Just click it. Okay, in fact, you don't need to download anything, but we are going to be referencing this particular documentation for this entire thing. But let me see, I have already created like a few notes that I wanted to discuss. Yep, Python installation is done. API kya hota hai is done. Let me tell you, before we go jump into fast API, I'll tell you what a virtual environment is. All right. So let me go to Canva, and this is my dashboard. Now imagine, and I think you guys are fast learners, so you will be able to pick this up fast. Imagine this is a house, and let me change the color. This is some other house. Okay. I'm very bad at drawing on mouse and stuff, so please don't mind. But this is house number 1. This is house number 2. House number 1 has Python version 2 point, or CPU. We'll imagine these are CPU 2.1 installed. And house number 2 has Python version 2.2 installed. And both of these houses are inside of a neighborhood. Okay. Both of these houses are inside of a neighborhood with Python version 2. Sorry, control that. 2.0 is installed. Okay. Now imagine, I'll tell you something. I'll tell you a term, and you need to keep this in mind. There is something called as backwards compatibility. Backwards compatibility means ki 2.0, whatever 2.0 is doing, if you update Python to 2.1, all of this should work. If 2.0 is backwards compatible with 2.1, or 2.1 is backwards compatible with 2.0, that means the previous version code is going to run. If let's say 2.2, if 2.2 is not backwards compatible with 2.0 over here, okay, let's just say it is backward compatible with 2.1, whatever code you will write in 2.1 will work with 2.2. But although this will create some dilemma, okay, so that is why 2.1 wala example will not take. But for whatever reason, let's say we decided to create another version of Python, and we'll call it, let's say 2.2. You know what, I'll screw that. 2.0 is not backwards compatible with 2.0 means whatever code you're writing inside Python version 2.0, that will not work with the updated code. Okay. That is all we need to know about backwards compatibility. Now, what are virtual environments? Virtual environments basically mean, imagine now this is a folder. Okay. Wait, people are here, right? Okay. There was a bit of hustle in Discord, that's why I saw that. Anyways, so yeah. Now imagine these two are two different folders. This one has 2.0 and this one has 2.1. Now imagine imagine for whatever reason, this code is completely scrapped. Okay, there is a bug in this version. What is going to happen if we created this inside a virtual environment in this folder? Only the contents of the, let's say there is some update in 2.0 and 2.0 crashes every single time. Recently, Harshit ka entire PC got crashed due to an Ubuntu like update something error. Okay, so this stuff happens. But since it was Ubuntu was like it was a okay, first let me make scopes. So this blue line is the global scope. Okay, you should, if you're getting confused, let me just revamp all of it. Blue line is the global scope that covers everything your entire computer. Now, this green folder and these yellow folders are two different folders. What we have done is created two virtual environments inside of these folders. If you if you do anything inside of this virtual environment, it is not going to affect this particular folder. Got it? 2.0 के साथ कुछ भी हो रहा है, it is not going to affect 2.1. 2.1 के साथ whatever is happening, it is not going to affect 2.0. But if we do something to this, if let's say there is something that is happening here and there is a third folder, let's make it using wait, where are the colors? Let's make it using pink. There is a third folder that does not have a virtual environment. It is running on the global Python version that you have installed in your operating system. This is running on some Python version that is inside a virtual environment. By virtual environment, I think everyone is smart enough to understand that it's a virtually created environment inside of a folder, right? But this Python is running on the virtual environment, inside the virtual environment of this green folder. This Python code is running on 2.1, which is inside the virtual environment of yellow folder. But there is a pink folder that runs, and the code inside of it is running on the global Python. The like everything inside of it is running on global Python. What is going to happen if this Python crashes or whatever happens with this Python version? Let's say there is some bug, some very big open source bug that happened in this particular Python. Your code, if you have not kept it inside a virtual environment, is going to crash. Okay. Or let's say there's a person who just does not believe in using virtual environments. He just creates a Python folder, just like you do, and he just writes code, he or she, they just write code over here, they just create another folder, write code, and all of it is running on the same version of Python. Now if something happens to, let's say if something happens to this particular yellow Python, all of your code inside your PC is going to crash. So I think you should get the gist. We create a virtual environment using command line to safeguard our code. If something happens to, let's say, we have installed version 2.0, and if something happens to Python version 2.0 for whatever godforsaken reason, it is not going to affect another folder that we have, in which we are using Python version 2.0. Okay, I think this is all you need to know about virtual environments. Now I'll be creating a virtual environment for you guys, so just follow along. We're going to be going somewhat slow. Let's say this is Robolution. We create a folder called Robolution Python API dev. Okay. Wait, what? Why did it not renamed? Okay. Let me rename it. Where is the rename wala thing? Yeah, in Windows 11. API dev Robolution. This is the short name that I've given it. Oh God, is my PC lagging? Yes, it is lagging a little bit. My bad. Just give my PC 20 seconds. We will edit this out. Um, yep. Array, I would have already created a few virtual environments if I just okay. Cancel will not do anything. We'll just open it using VS Code. Open with code. Okay. Just open an empty folder, do it on your PCs. I think since like my screen is being shared, it is lagging a bit. My RAM is a bit low right now. I'm gonna add a few more RAM sticks or whatever. But right now, what I want you to do is don't create any file for now. just go to view, uh, go to terminal, open a terminal, check if you have Python. If you just type Python over here, it will show you if you have a particular version. I have 3.13.2 right now. Okay, press Control C, sorry, Control D to get out of this. Basically, when you type Python, it gets you inside of a terminal where you can just directly type Python code, press enter, and it will show you output. Okay, now we'll experiment with that later, but right now, check if you have Python installed correctly. If you do, or you can do using Python v dash v. Uh, Once you have done that, type this particular command, py 3. Let me just check. Yeah, py 3 m venv. Abhi tak, whatever command we have written, we have declared that it's a Python command. Python 3 we are using, that is why py 3 m. Leave that for now. VENV stands for virtual environment, since we are creating a virtual environment inside of it. And now we name our virtual environment whatever we want to call it. Let's say we create an environment called home. Okay, we can call it anything. General state rule, whatever, like general, like the nomenclature in coding is, you just call it VENV again. So type this code. I'll also copy paste it, so I'll send you in the chat. Um, I'll just type this, press enter, and you should see a folder over here called VENV that has been created. It will get out of this soon. Yes, there we go. And as you can see, we have created an entire virtual environment over here. If you go into scripts, you will see python.exe. Now this Python code is separate from your global Python code. Right now, if you go over here into, okay, where is it? It must be somewhere. Basically, there is a global terminal that is running right now in a terminal only. Wait a minute. Let me hide this. Where is the terminal thing where we can check which terminal is running? I usually don't check it usually. Okay, fine. You know what? Just believe me for now that there is a global terminal that is running right now. Right now, we are in the global terminal, that is the command prompt. Okay, the terminal that we're using, this is like command prompt or PowerShell, whatever is the default on your machine, that is going to be open. So right now we're interacting with the entire computer. Whatever Python version is installed, we are interacting with the entire computer. Now we want to change this terminal to the virtual environment python.exe that we have created right now over here. Right now, as you can see, there is a python.exe. Let me share the command that I also wrote in the command window. Let me just control V this. You have to write this code. Why is it not going? Oh yeah, it's good. Got it. So you just have to copy paste this code after you have successfully installed Python inside a folder that you have created on VS Code terminal. Once you do that, you'll be able to get here. Why am I opening my WhatsApp? I should not be doxing me. Edit that, please. Few times. Sorry. Yeah, that's it. So VNV created. Now what we are going to do is we're going to go to view, command palette. Okay, and type this whatever you're seeing right now, because it's recently used. I've recently made a few FastApi just to check my system and all before like glitching. It is there in recently used, but you're gonna type this. Let me zoom in a bit. Python colon select interpreter. Okay, let me type it along with you. Python colon select interpreter. Okay, this will show if you write this much also, and if you click it, there will be something over here where you can, over here you can see like there is a vn.vnv ka, like this thing that is recommended. If it is showing to you, just click on this. This will change the Python terminal from global to local, to like a virtual environment. If not, ये जो path file है ना, just type this dot forward slash backward slash venv slash scripts, because it is inside scripts folder, dash python dot exe. If you type it and just press enter, yep, There we go. And we'll select the environment type as VNV. Okay, sorry, my bad. We're gonna be refraining from that. But yeah. So like again, if you missed it, sorry. Okay, shit. My bad. Yeah, there we go. Edit that again. But yeah, there's the thing. Go to if you missed it, let me zoom out. We have already selected VNV as the environment type. But yeah, go to, let me refresh it. Yeah, go back. Why is it? Enter interpreter path. Enter to a Python interpreter again. Same thing. Dot dash when just give me like a few seconds. My brother is disturbing me. I don't know where the phone is. I should have told him. मैं अभी एक मीटिंग में, मैं थोड़ी देर में कॉल करता हूँ. My bad. So basically, all you need to do is let me just go to view, go to command palette again. Command palette. Go to Python select interpreter, and just type this path. That is all you need to do. And we are gonna be basically, there will be a reactivating terminal that will show over here, and that will switch from your global interpreter to your local interpreter. Ready? Great. Now basically, after we have done this, what is remaining? Yep. You need to do one more thing. Yeah, in your terminal, write this command. Basically, we are also, like in the compiler, we are also activating the python.exe in the VNV file. So write this command VNV slash. You need to do this every single time. We'll give it to you in notes. Take it, don't worry. Even I refer to it sometimes when I forget, when I'm not using FastApi and doing some blockchain stuff. So like it is usual, VENV script, same thing, scripts slash. Now we need to activate this. Where is the activate.bat? If you go to scripts, there is this folder called activate.bat. We need to do that, right? So we are going to be just copying the entire path file to scripts. Let me just, yeah, to the activate.bat. Let me just do that. Activate.bat. Okay, just type this. I'll also copy paste this into the chat. We'll see. Press enter. Okay, and it will automatically be activated. If you see PowerShell over here, like the entire thing will show what is working, what is not working, and shell integration failed to activate. That is not of use. Activated environment. Yeah, we have already activated environment for vnv.python.exe. Okay, so that is done. Type this same command into your the second thing that I sent you to your command palette. Sorry, the command prompt. Now, is it important to do all of this tedious work? Maybe not when you're testing. If it doesn't work for you, your code will still run. But your virtual environment will not be created, it will not be activated. And what happens if it's not activated? You are relying on the main Python, everything, okay, the Python that has been installed to your PC path, the main path of your PC. And because I told you when you were installing, I told you that you need to click add to path, right? So that is like added to the main part of your the C drive of your PC, and that is where it is accessing from. Now, imagine if you just download a wrong module or something happens to that version of Python, every single Python code that is on your PC is going to be affected. That means that every single code that you will be running malfunctioning, right? So that is why we do this. We can still, like, it is not completely important. I mean, it is important, but it's not absolutely required. So if you cannot do this, it's fine. Don't worry. Now we are going to be going to the not inside the VENV. Go click on this. Okay, before you do, click on a new file. And now we are going to be creating our Python file where we are going to be actually starting with FastAPI. So create a main.py. Don't deviate much right now. Create a file called main.py. All right. Enter. But before we need to learn Fast API, I want to do a quick poll. If polling, okay, maybe polling is not available right now. I just want to do a quick in the chat over here. Just open this chat window if you don't know. I hope like it is visible. Corner chat. Just type yes if you know oops in Python, object oriented programming. If not, we'll go through it. Don't worry. Is everyone stuck? Or if I am stuck? If I'm not stuck, Arnav, just let me know if I'm stuck. Wait, am I stuck or am I not? Okay, Malhar knows oops, tools. I think a few other people know oops. I think Arnav slept. Uh, who else over here knows oops? Object oriented programming. Just type in yes quickly. Uh, if not, we'll proceed. We have time, don't worry. I'll be keeping this to a very introductory like level right now, so you are comfortable with whatever we are going to be writing in the main.py today. If you're able to do that, if you're able to understand every single line that we are going to be writing in main.py, like you'll be fine. Okay, you'll get everything. Okay, so don't worry. Two yeses, two no's. I am assuming there are other people who also don't know oops. If you do, type in yes. Okay, three no's, two yeses. We'll just go over oops what object oriented programming is. Okay. So before we do object oriented programming, let me confuse you. Once I confuse you, I'll clarify it. So like you'll go, you have that okay, that moment. All right. So we'll go to this documentation that I've posted. Click on this link. You will get here. You know what? I'll click it with you. Click on this link. You will get to this page. You'll get to this page. And wait a minute. Yeah. And just go to this example. All right. So what I want you to do is forget all of this for now. I hope you are able to go to example. It is like literally right over here. Just click example over here. The if you can see my mouse cursor roaming around example, just click example. You will come to example. All right. We'll come to example. And now we'll debug not debug, we'll just try to understand every single line of code from here to here. So first, what are we doing? We are importing Fast API from Fast API. From Fast API, import Fast API. I'll explain all of this. So before that, we'll be installing Fast API and then we'll import it to our file, and I'll tell you what importing is. I'll tell you what are modules, how do you import, all of that. Okay. So quickly, we will wrap up by 9:30. Don't worry, but I want you to be like this particular code, these few lines that we are going to be writing, these 4 to 5 lines. If you understand this, 35 to 40% of your work is done. Okay. If you just understand this, focus on understanding this. Even if you're not writing it with me, try to understand it. But right now, just do whatever I'm doing. Type this command pip install, although I already have it, but I'm going to do it again. In quotes, Fast API, square brackets, all. Okay, this is all you need to wait. I'll copy paste it in the chat as well. Yep, there we go. Discord. Yep. Control V. Uh, Wait, let me run it first before you run it. Let me see if I have like made some capitalization error or something. If everything works fine, then you do it. Yeah, everything is working fine. So basically, just type that code, and a huge like stuff number of stuff is going to be installed. Okay. And you can do like a list thing where you can see basically what we are doing in this part is we are Fast API has already been written for us. What is Fast API now? Fast API is imagine a version of Python that is made specifically for APIs. Since you don't know, oops, I am assuming you guys have not gone ahead and also learned about decorators. Although I sent a video about decorators yesterday. If you did, good job. If you did not, don't worry. We'll go over it in brief. Of course, if you have time, just go over the video that I sent you. So this pip install fast API, what we are going to be doing is this fast API is like a special type of Python that is made specifically for API. But like you'd be wondering, I don't know a special type of Python. I only know the normal type of Python, right? So how would I go ahead and learn all of that? Don't worry. Python is still Python. We're just adding some stuff on top of it, cherries and tomatoes. Okay? So nothing to worry about. Just type it. And every single person who is in the Discord, send yes in the chat right now. After this particular message, I want, how many of us are here? Include, exclude me, exclude enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of us. I want 7 people saying yes once they have done installing Fast API. If you have any issues, speak up. I want you to speak up. This is a very like cozy environment. Okay? So just speak up if you are having any issues. Already, Malhar has installed it. Manoj has installed it. So we have already got cases. If you are,
I proceed with this
speak up.
session. Like, do we need to do that VNV thing? Because I missed it because of an internet
Not
error. So,
not no. It's fine. It's fine. We'll debug if you're having problems in VNV. Wait, why is it saying go like okay? Never mind. So if you're facing any issues in VNV, don't worry. Your FastAPI code is still gonna run. We can debug it later on. You can like set and debug it. Don't worry. For anyone else also, if like your code is not working, don't worry. Like your VNV is not working, don't worry because sometimes it happens. It happened with me initially. Then I had to like reinstall the entire Python pip install. Like it is gonna be a long process. Don't worry about it. But yeah, VNV sometimes does not work. Give it some time. It will. Uh, yeah, but like your code is not going to be affected basically. So how many yeses do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. 2 more people. Who are the 2 more people? Raksha, have you like installed both of the Rakshas? I think no. One of them has said yes. Okay. Again, I'm still counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7 yeses. Let's go. Nice. So everyone has pip installed Fast API. Trust me, it has been installed. You don't need to like check and stuff. So basically, what we are going to be doing, we are going to be using something. First, let's go to this documentation. Go to this documentation. Go to yeah this example wala part and just copy paste this much from fast API. Import fast API. App is equal to fast API bracket app dot get this function. Okay, just install. Just do copy. Go to your VS Code to paste. Okay. Uh, Yellow line because in when you're watching doing like doing stuff in virtual environment, it usually does not recognizes a few libraries and all of that. But like trust me, it's gonna be fine. Our code is gonna work. Okay. So I can say just like Code with Harry does, wow, you have created your first API course, you should be patting like your first API, you should be patting yourself and all that shit. No, don't, don't. We have a lot to uncover yet. First, let's go line by line. What is from fast API? Import fast API. Before that, I'm going to teach you oops. Oops dot py. Okay, let's do this. I'll teach you oops, what oops are, okay? So let's say we create an oops 2 as well. Oops 2 dot py. So what are first of all, what is object oriented programming? Object, let me do control plus. I think you should be able to see my code if it was not visible before. Uh, I hope everyone has copy pasted that particular section of code, this particular section up until this return hello world function, return hello world. That's all we need to do. This is what you call maps, or I think mapping is a different thing. Like it's similar to mapping in other programming language. I'm not what was it called in Python? I'm forgetting. Um, well, it is similar to JSON. It's similar to mapping. Okay, mapping key a dictionary. It is called a dictionary. very many different languages of different things. Okay, so I get confused sometimes. But here's the thing. So oops ke liye, what is object oriented programming? Now this is a very shitty example, but this is the only example that is coming to my mind right now. So we're gonna work with it. Now imagine you want to describe a human. Okay, what is the most basic? Okay, humans are complex. Okay, will not identify humans. Let's say you want to identify an organism. Okay, what is the very basic function that it should do? It should be living, it should eat, and it should poop. These are the three functions that an organism does. Okay, and a living thing, it lives, it eats, it secretes, it reproduces. Let's say four things. Okay, so there are various types of living things, but these are the four basic things that every single living being does. So let's say we want to create, like, if we are creating some sort of code where we will be classifying different types of living organisms, first we need to like create a basic structure of what a living organism is, and then we can modify it for further uses, right? So how do we do that? How do we create a basic structure and then reuse it for different types of organisms? Now you must be a bit confused by now if you have not like looked at oops ever again. Let me tell you the most basic example that everyone uses that I didn't want it to use. But imagine cars. Okay, let's go. Clap for me. The most original example that has ever been used. Imagine car. What does a car have? It has a chassis. It has a model number or like a year when it was created. It has a color. Okay, we'll just go with these three things. It has chassis. It has a model number. It has a color, and of course, it has four wheels. Otherwise, it won't be a car. But we will not include it right now. Okay. Um, so let's say we create a class called car. Okay, so let's keep it capital. So for now, for whatever reason, we create a car called class. So inside of this class car, what we can do is we can give it different methods. Okay, so let's just say I give it a method called I give it a method called chassis. Chassis. Okay, and then there is I am forgetting the syntax in Python because we usually do oops in C++, whereas let me just quickly look at the syntax in Python because I usually do it in C. Classes in Python happen sometimes. This is what you need to do. Okay, just go Google. There we go. Class dog sound is equal to bug. Okay, got it. So let's say car is equal to chassis. Okay, for now, if you want to do multiple objects, let's sound is equal to bug, and I think we'll see if we need a comma or I think we need a comma. No, we don't need a comma. Semicolon doesn't work. But for now, let's just imagine that we are just creating a class with some property. Okay, so basically we can have different cars. Now imagine a Volkswagen will have a longer chassis. Okay, so let's say chassis equals long. Okay, this is for a Volkswagen. Let's say a Suzuki will have a chassis that is short. Okay, so like these are different uh, parameters that we can give to a particular uh, like a particular object of this class. Now what are objects and all of that, we'll go into that, but for now just imagine that this is a car. These are all the like properties that we can give to the car, and then we can create instances of this class. So imagine you are a person in dev also, in CSS also we studied classes, right? Classes and IDs. Imagine you are someone who is in a class called Triple E. My department is Triple E. Now, what should be the basic properties? I should know about Ohm's law. I should know about Kirchhoff's law. That should be the bare minimum that I should know, right? And how much I know about them can vary. Okay, a person A can be an expert in these two. A person B can be like completely like devoid of any knowledge of Ohm's law. But the true properties of a particular person from a class is going to be there, right? So imagine this. So take this example, and right now we'll take the example of a car. Here, so for now, let's just say chassis is equal to none. We'll do that. And then let's say color is equal to none as well for now. Okay. And let's just say what else did we say? Year when it was created. None. Okay. So we have defined three properties that a particular object from the class car can have. What is an object? Object is an instance. Just like I am an instance of EEE department, someone from this call is going to be an instance of CSE department, a class called CSE. Similarly, car1, something like car1, which we call object, hence the object oriented programming, car1 is going to be an instance of this class car. Okay, how do we declare it as an instance? We will let you know, and hence we will be basically analyzing this entire code. Okay, we can just know that we can create these properties called car. Okay, now we can also create functions inside of it. Let's say I want this car to stop. Okay, how do we do that? First, let's say def stop, and inside of this we will give self as a keyword. Okay, so we will give self as a keyword, and then what we'll do is we'll print this car as stopped. So basically what is happening is this class has a function def. Okay, and it is defined inside this. And if we press this button, let's say forever, let's say we are creating a game and we have this car, and it also has a function that it can stop. In the game, you can press a button and it can stop. The moment this function is called, that means the moment the button is pressed, this print statement will be displayed on the screen. Okay, got it. We can have different functions as well, similar to this. Let's say def start. How can you not? I'll tell you what self is after this, but right now just I think wait a minute. Uh, okay, we'll just go. I'm not too like um, well versed with Python object oriented programming. I usually do it in C, but the C++. But yeah, this is the gist. Okay, we can create functions inside of an object. Now, if I want to call, let's say we give this a print statement as well. This is sorry, the car has stopped. Okay, and instead of doing all of this, what we're going to do is to initialize an object inside of a car. I'll tell you what that is again when we go to oops2 file. But to do that, okay, yeah, we're running out of time a little bit. So basically what I'm going to be doing is do this def underscore underscore init. Okay, it will already pass a self function, but we also need other variables. Okay, that means we need a model, we need color, and we need year. Just like I told you, to create a car, this will initialize that object into this function. I'll show you that, then you will be able to like understand. So let's say instead of pass, we do self dot model. Okay, not module, control Z, model self. What is self? Self basically tells the function that this object is part of this class. So whenever we are putting self inside this function will be applied to a particular object that we're calling this uh, class on. Okay, it is a bit confusing, but when you see the fast API code, you will understand it. Self.model, self.color, and self.year. Okay, I think we are ready. We have a class car. We have three different functions that we can call. And now if you go to oops2, I've created a function in oops1. But here's the thing, in Python, you can, if they are in the same file, if that means that it has been installed to your local machine, you can call this function, you can call this class inside another file using this from file oops.py. From file oops, we have created oops.py, right? So from oops, import car. And now you can see we can use this this class that we created in some other file in this file. And that is what this is. Now, FastAPI, from FastAPI, import FastAPI. FastAPI is a file that has been created when we pip installed FastAPI. Import, we are importing something from this file FastAPI. And what are we importing? This function called FastAPI. Got it? It has similar name, but as you can see, these are two different things because they have two different spellings. I think this should be roughly understood by you. Whatever we did over here, we created a function, gave it different, we created a class, we gave it different functions, and now we called that function into another file. That is why I like explained all of this. This is what this code is doing, and we are going to be importing a lot of other stuff, and that is how we're going to be using it. Now let's just say we create, how do we create now? If I want to create car1 and I want to give it some value, how do we do it? We do it using this. We do it using, let's say we were going to write car1 is equal to car. That means car1 is an object of this function car with a capital C, right? We're going to give it brackets, and what goes inside the brackets? Whatever stuff we need to write inside this init. Okay, so self, what is the model number? Self we don't write because self is used to tell this computer that car1 is an object of this. Okay, and what else do we need to do? We need to write model, we need to write color, we need to write here. Okay, so let's say we create a car1 which has a model, let's just say it has V8 engine. That is why like we are calling it V8, and it has what is the next color, right? Color and year. Okay, so it has color red. We need to give it in the same order, color red, and year 2024 23. Okay, I've written 23, and we are not going to put that in double quotes because it's a numerical type. If we run this, this car is going to be created. Okay, this car has already been created. This car is an object of the class car. What if I write, what if I want to get the color of the car? Okay, so let's say we want to get the color of car1. What we will do, we'll do print car1 dot color. That's all we need to do. If we run this, if we run oops 2 dot sorry, python oops 2 dot py. I'm a bit sleepy also, so I'm forgetting stuff. And if I've written everything over here right, which is a massive if because I don't usually write function classes in Python, it should give us red. Okay, it did not because there is some issues in the import function. Don't, for just example sake, just understand this. I will debug all of that in the documentation, don't worry. But for a like understanding sake, if I just write car1 dot color, it will check if car1 is an object of car. Does it have a property called color? And what is the value of the color? Red, and ideally it should give me red as an output. Okay, this is what I want you to understand. What did we do here? We created an object car, which is an instance of car. This class that we created. And how did we do that? We do that by just writing this much. Even if we don't give it any property, let's say this car is invisible and it does not exist, it's just a fragment of my imagination. It is still an object that belongs to car, and that is what we are doing over here. I'm teaching you oops very quickly without revising it because I want you to understand it. That is what we're doing it over here. App is just a name. We can call it Tejasvi also. Okay? So it won't matter. Over here also we need to call it Tejasvi then. Okay? It doesn't matter what name you're giving, but this app is just an instance of FastAPI. I'm just telling you that you need to understand this because later on we'll be importing a lot of stuff and we will be working with all of this. So you need to understand that this is an object, this is a class, and we're just creating an instance of FastAPI. Okay. And this app.get @app.get is a decorator. What is a decorator? Imagine there is this cup. I want this cup to become a horror cup. How would I do that? I would draw like scary eyes and stuff on that. So the additional things that I'm doing to this cup it was already a function, right? So this function is already a function. It is going to return hello world, whatever. Okay. This function is already a function. But whatever I'm doing on top of it to make it into an API, this was a regular function. But I want this function whenever this particular thing is called, I will tell you what this is. This is called, this is basically reference URL. Okay? But whenever this is going to be called, whatever this is, we will see it right now. Before we end the sessions, we have still 5 minutes left. Before we end the session, we will run this code and we will see what's happening. Okay, don't worry. So imagine this is a cup. It is a function. I want to make it into a pookie cup. What would I do? I would probably put a bow tie on top of it. I would probably draw some smiley face, ninja Hawadi, gal wala, that dimple, whatever, and I'll make it a pookie cup. And like whatever I've done on top of this, that is what decorator is. I have decorated it, right? So I've created it from a normal cup to a pokey cup, or to a like a scary cup. How would I do that? I would put some scary stuff on top of it. Similarly, this is what we are doing over here. Over here, this is my function, regular function. I want to create this into a fast API function. Okay, let's just call it fast API function. How would I do that? I would just add this decorator on top of it. To get more idea on what decorators are, go to the decorators wala video, and like I've sent it in the WhatsApp group. I'll also add it to the resources tab in the Discord as well. Keep checking Discord. Um, that's it. So we're just adding this to this. Now, what are exactly we adding? Control Z. Let me just Control Z, Control Z. Wait. Yeah, my bad. App.get. What are we adding over here? What is this? What is all this? Why is it okay? Yeah, app. Yeah. So right now there's an instance of fast API class called app that we have created, and over here this app.get. So what is this app.get? First of all, let's understand. There are 4 HTTP methods that we're going to talk in the next class. Right now, I don't think I have the time to explain you what that is, but there is something called HTTP methods. These methods are used to either post data, get data from some server, update data, delete data, modify data, all of that. Okay? For doing that, we have certain keywords. So like this app.get, what is this doing? This is getting data from this function. So when we run this code, we will get this as an output. So this function has some data. This app.get will tell the browser to get data from this function, from wherever this server is hosted. And what is this? What is dash slash? Okay, you know what? Instead of dash slash, we will write dash slash post. Okay, and instead of read root, let's modify this to get user post. Okay, and instead of hello world, let's say post is equal to, instead of world, let's write, just understand this. I'll explain this in a while, in like just 1 minute. This is a user post. Now imagine you are creating Instagram, and at the end of this, like the entire backend part, we will be creating a Reddit clone. Okay, that is what I've planned for this. Will be creating a Reddit clone. We'll be creating entirety of Reddit, including user authentication and everything, and we'll be hosting it online. So like if you want to get a post, let's say you're creating a social media and you want to get a post from your server, what you will do is you will do app.get. What is the slash post? We will see it in a while. And what is all of this? This is just a function where you are getting the post whenever this is going to be called slash posts. I think you've seen in URL, right? youtube.com/Carry It will get you to Carry Minati ka page. This is that slash Carry Minati. If we write Carry Minati over here, carry, okay, and this is a Carry Minati YouTube page. So if we run this and we go to /Carry Minati, I'll do it right now. To run this, I have a command. It is called uvcon main colon app, because that is the name of the instance of this fast API class that we have created. App is our, basically this is what we are calling our object, right? So app.get will tell us that whenever app is called, this decorator and this function will get activated. So what we are doing is UVCon. UVCon is a library for server, like hosting locally, all of that. Okay. So we'll be writing UVCon main app, and then what was it? So right now, if I just write this, it is going to work. Fingers crossed, it did work. Okay, not as embarrassing as creating classes. I'm gonna have to revise my oops now. So when I click Control plus click on this, if you want, you can try it out also. Control C. Let me just share it on the Discord chat. Hopefully the Discord is still working and hopefully I have not disconnected. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yep, there we go. So just add this after you have pressed Control S. Not show carry. This is Carry Minati YouTube page. Let me press Control S. Okay. Uh, you know what? You know what? You know what? Don't press Control S. First start this and then press Control S. We'll see. So right now, as you can see, I'll show you also, so you don't have to, like, if even if you did press all of that. Right now it is showing hello world. Why is that? I in my code I have written, initially it was यहाँ पे hello, यहाँ पे world, right? And that is what it is showing right now, because I did not press Control S. Okay, I did not press Control S, and that is what it is. That's why it is showing hello world right now. If you just do pretty print, it will just like put it in CSS format of sorts, just like you studied CSS and all that. So it is showing hello world, but I have updated my code and I want whatever output is going to be updated. How do I do that? First, press Control C, get out of this server, type uvcon main.app, and what we will do is we will use this like special keyword called reload. Okay, so when you do use dash dash reload and then press enter, now if you just change yt to YouTube, let's say in it right now it's yt, right? And then I ran the server. So technically when I go to, let me refresh this. Right now we are at the home page. How do we denote home page? We denote home page by a backslash. Okay, if we just write homepage, it will say details not found. Why? Because we have not defined a homepage yet. We have defined slash carry minati. We have not defined app.get and initially just this, whatever this was, right? We have defined dash carry minati. So how you should see this? You should see this as the URL of your website, because that is the URL of your server. And now if we do slash carry minati, sorry, this is the output that we are going to be getting. Whatever we added to our server. Imagine this function as our server right now. Okay, this is our backend code, and our website should be showing this whenever someone goes to slash carry youtube.com/carry minati. This is the page that instead of this we will be adding a page over here, but this is what the output should be, just to test this API. And that is exactly what it is showing me right now. Carry, this is Carry Minati's YouTube page. Okay, now let's say instead of YT, I add YouTube. Initially, what I had to do, I had to like close this server, go to UVCon main app, okay, and then press enter and like do all of that after an update to like show that update on the page, right? Now, since we have used this slash reload thing, do it yourself. Okay, I'm not going to be sharing this on the chat. Do it yourself. Add this previous command and as dash dash reload. Okay, once we do this, and now we have clearly changed YT to YouTube, and it has not been saved because this like this white dot over here is showing on my page. When I press Control S, the server is going to look at this, waiting for application to shut down. Application shutdown complete, finish server, whatever. ठीक है, it restarted. Basically यहाँ पे it started reloading. ठीक है, and then it started my entire server. And now if I go over here and refresh, this YT has been updated to YouTube. How cool is that? You can just add dash dash reload, and like whatever changes you're making to the code, your like your web page is showing that. So today we are going to end at this. We are at the 1 hour mark. We started at 8:35. We're ending at 9:35. Okay. But I hope every single one of you is able to understand everything that is written over here, and that is what we are going to be doing repetitively. I'm sorry for a few syntax errors that might have happened over here in like creating the class and everything. Maybe I should just do this. No, not this, control Z. There is some syntax error that happened. I'll just like maybe is equal to none. I had to write that, I did not. Okay, I'll like work around. I'm a bit sleepy right now. I haven't slept for more than 35-40 hours. So that is why it is happening, but don't worry, it's just basic syntax error. If we just go over here, what you have done right now, and now you can actually pat your back, you have actually created an API where you have given it a backend, some data that it needs to display. This API is communicating with your browser, fetching this data and showing it to the user. Now, instead of this, whatever localhost, this stuff, sorry, my bad, whatever localhost this is, 1.7.8 thousand port, whatever, this is your local server, right? Let's say you are shifting it to an AWS server, and like this has your entire URL. Instead of this numbers, it says youtube.com, and you are the owner of youtube.com or tubu.com. Okay, we're gonna do that. tubu.com/carryminati. If you're the owner of that, this is exactly how it will show to some other user that has no information about you. And like if they go and access this page and it is hosted on the website, this is how like the entire communication and everything is happening. For later on, we will replace this with an entire database, and that is we have just like used the get request right from. There are multiple type of requests. There is a post request as well, where you can just add, instead of this, you can do app.post, add some, get some user data from some database that they have added using a front end, and then you can add it to a particular database. You are posting stuff to a database, you're giving it to a, you're adding it, right? There is app dot delete as well. Okay, there are multiple, we'll study about all of this later on, but right now I just want you to be clear with every single thing that is happening from here till here. And I want you to know that this is a file, this is a class, this is an instance of this particular class called FastApi. This is a decorator. Inside this decorator, we have used .get function. How do we, did someone else create a decorator that can turn this into FastApi? Don't worry about that right now. Just know that if we add this particular decorator, we're turning a regular function into a backend code that whenever this thing, this URL is called, it will return whatever is inside this function. Okay, enough yapping for today. If you have any doubts, shoot. That's it. How many of you were able to run this? Just send a thumbs up in the chat over here. How many of you did get the browser callback and all that? But did everyone die?
No worry. Like, I just that this thing, UV con main app वाला जो part था, like
Okay.
first we change it into like if you run the only the slash part, like that just calls the main page, or like we need to redirect it to
Yeah.
some other page in the
Yeah.
get function.
Let's say we do let's say we do this, control C. Let's say we add enter, control V, and we remove this. This is the URL for your home page. Okay. When nothing
Okay.
has happened, you have to give like a home page to it. Let's say we get return, return, this is home
Homepage.
page. Okay. So let's say we do that. And now if we go to uh our yeah, where is it? Where is it? Yep, there we go. If we remove Kariminati, this is home page. It will just return this is home page. We have
And if
created,
I
now
go
we have, if you go
like
to
the search
Kariminati,
bar and
it will,
enter, okay,
yeah, if you go to just go over here, control Z, sorry.
Terminati.
Yeah, it will show another page. You can create multiple pages like this. This is
So
fetching data
basically,
from
it
the
is
browser.
taking the our search into an input.
Yeah, it is getting data. So
Okay.
app.get is getting data from this function that is acting as a backend
Mhm.
right now. like a database right now. We will replace it with a database, and then we'll communicate with the database and get the data out of that. And then we
Okay.
will arrange it in a beautiful manner to create an entire web page, just like Reddit does.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Cleared a lot of things.
Yep.
Thank
Does anyone else has any doubts? If you were able to run, just give me a thumbs up. If you were able to run UVCon, whatever, not on the emojis part, just send it to me in the chat so I can like sort of keep a track. If not, this is recorded. Go to the last part where we were discussing UVCon. If like later, if I am stable, if I'm mentally sane, I will add a timestamp and all to this first lecture. You can just go to the UVCon part and try all of it yourself. Okay.